Here we go. And now, a real live escrow officer from Stewart Title, Julie Augustyn, right here. And guess what? She is in 2925 Richmond Avenue, Kirby Grove. That's right. So many of our guests are from that particular building. It's incredible, and so is she. Well, Julie, let's tell people we don't always get to talk to escrow officers, and people really don't think about the term sometimes escrow officer or escrow until they're buying or selling a house. Let's tell people a little bit about the basics and how all these things come together at a real estate transaction.
Basically, I have so many balls in the air. There's the real estate transaction side. We have both realtors. We have the buyer. We have the seller. We also have the lender. When there's a loan involved, there's a lender, a mortgage broker involved. Everybody has their own agendas. They have their goals, and everyone has their pieces to put together, and it all comes together at the closing table. There's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of emotions involved, but I have to be the neutral third party that gets all the pieces put together.
Interested in everybody's satisfaction, which is really, when you think about it, and I could see sometimes the behind the scenes, not just with you, but other escrow officers, because you want everyone to be happy, and that sometimes is a tall order. But I love the scene, and those of the people listening that have been in a real estate transaction, maybe there's going to be a first-time home buyer out there, but when you get to the closing table, it is a work of art. It's a fascinating experience because people want different things. I want my check from the house. The realtors want their commission. The buyers want the keys. It's fascinating. It's one of the great things in Americana today.
And that's what's very important is at the closing table, that is supposed to be the happiest part of the whole transaction.
And it is when you're at Stewart Title.
And that's I make it a point every time that there aren't any surprises. Everyone knows what's going on. They know their role in the process, and remembers that it was a good time and it was a happy thing.
And that's right. Sometimes when we think about this, there can be tension, apprehension, because real estate transactions are of all sizes in terms of dollars, and a lot is at stake. So there can be some tension, and it's good, I'm sure, along with every now and then a little bit of comedic asides. Also, people are probably asking you questions a lot.
Yes.
Throughout there. So give us an example maybe of a question or two that you have heard a lot at various real estate transactions. What do people usually want to know, or what are they concerned about?
The most important thing is the buyer wants to know what's their monthly payment going to be, and when do they get the keys.
In fact, I remember on one of my early transactions, that's right, I look at that spot that says the monthly fee that it's going to be, and I want to know, it's not going to be more than this, is it?
Right,
they want assurance, right?
Yes. It's amazing. People on a mortgage transaction, the paperwork is usually an inch to an inch and a half thick. Those are the only questions that people want confirmed. What's my interest rate? What's my monthly payment? And when do I get the keys? They will sit there and for 30 minutes signing their name on signing 30 years of their life away, and those are the only questions. These are the only questions they have.
If I'm the seller, where's my check?
Exactly. Will it fund today? Can I get a wire? They want to know how immediately they can have their funds. Another common question is the sellers are often buying another property, and they want to make sure that we can wire the funds from Stewart Title to another Stewart office or to another title company so that it's immediate funds when they go in for their purchase.
Because people are thinking about their next move and the next part of their life. And that's the other thing, that the real estate transaction, when someone's home, it marks a chapter in their life. It ends a chapter and begins another one.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know as I work at Stewart Title, I'm honored to be part of that part. I hold that in reverence for people to be a part of that. That must be tremendous satisfaction.
It is. It's interesting. Usually the most tension that there might be regarding a closing is when a seller is selling their home. It's not a house. It's not a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's their home. And then when the buyer is coming in, of course, they're wanting to get the best possible deal. So they're ripping it to shreds of of, well, when was this put in and why did you paint it that color? And they're tearing it apart. So there can be, before people come to closing, there can be some friction, and that's not a problem. That's when people close separately and everyone's happy, and I'm always on everybody's side.
That's the way to be. In fact, you're talking about ripping it apart verbally sometimes,
yes,
or in certain figures of speech.
Yes.
But sometimes they literally are going to, we're going to knock that wall down, or we're going to do this. And sometimes the person that sold that home is like, or selling the home, oh, I like that wall, but it's not your house anymore. So many emotions take place. That's why it's fascinating.
One of the toughest closings that I did, a woman was selling her home. She had raised her kids there. She had owned the home for 40 years. Her son was helping her sell the home. She was moving into an assisted living or senior living facility, and he hadn't told her that the people that were buying it were going to tear it down and rebuild. So that was a separate closing, and that was very difficult for me because she wanted me to be sure and tell the people, which light switch ran which lights, and and so I just went right along with it and never let her know that they were going to completely raise it and build a new home.
There you are, kind of like Switzerland, just staying neutral, steady the whole time, keeping things, and like Switzerland in that the transaction sometimes is like a Swiss watch because so many things come together.
Yes.
From the time you get the file on a given property, what's the first things that you do? Because there are so many complexities.
Yes. First thing is we do is review the contract, make sure everything is filled in, make sure that there aren't any extraneous issues that maybe we wouldn't be able to comply with, getting the earnest money from the buyer, opening title, searching title, determining if there's any issues with the property, working with the lender on the buyer, getting them the information that they need regarding the property, and then everybody it's always kind of a moving parts, like you said, that through inspections something may come up with the property that needs to be addressed, or there may, through the mortgage process, something may come up with the buyer.
And I want to tell people, too, all escrow officers are different. The way they handle a lot of escrow officers, like real estate professionals, some have a team. And you are unique in that. And I think this is a tremendous advantage, is that you do not use an assistant. You work with each transaction yourself, so that if someone has a question, you never say, oh, I have to check with my assistant. You know what's going on at any point of the transaction.
Exactly. And early on, when there might be a yellow flag turning to a red flag, I know about it when it happens as opposed to the day before closing.
There you go. That's why you are on the A-plus team at Stewart Title. Julie Augustyn, Senior Escrow Officer. Julie, I know people right now, and you're in the wonderful Kirby Grove building right there at 2925 Richmond Avenue, as so many of our guests are here today, thanks to Christina Sacco, who's right here, our Business Development Officer. In the meantime, if someone wants to close that real estate transaction at Kirby Grove with you at Stewart Fine Properties, what should they do?
They should call me at 713-625-8618.
There you go. 713-625-8618. Julie Augustyn, right there. She will help you. Stewart Title, thank you for being on the show.